our festive season mostly is linked to the religious, our Catholic religion. For example, we have Festa de San Pedro, we have Festa de San Juan, we celebrate Christmas, New Year, and also Easter. And there's one unique festival which is Festa Intrudo. Festa Intrudo is a water festival where the community will be playing with water, splashing one another, and it's like also a cleansing thing before we start our land. Okay, the water festival is celebrated from 9 a.m. right up to 12. We stop at 12 after that, and then there is also the traditional thing that we have is a selling of cakes. Okay, selling of traditional cakes, and then we have a sport which is a fancy dress football for the married and for the youngsters lah. We have this activity every year usually, and then we have Lent, which is about 40 days of Lent, and then the next festival feast that we celebrate is Good Friday, and then Easter. Easter is a big celebration because it's Christ risen. The Catholic believe in the risen Lord. And then we follow by St. John's Feast, which is on the 23rd of June. It's fixed, 23rd of June every year. The houses here will be decorated with candles, lit candles. And after that, 1 week we have the celebration of San Pedro, which is a very big feast, and St. Peter is a patron saint of the fishermen. So it's celebrated quite a large, this one in the settlement, because we have a lot of fishermen staying in the settlement. And then this festive season is celebrated at a large scale. We have tourists coming in for like about 10,000 people, and the festivals go on about 3 days. We have that day the cultural show, we have music and dancing, and also the traditional food can be found on that day lah. We have the top main item is the decorated boats, the fishermen decorated boats. The Feast of Assumption, but it is not celebrated in the settlement, but a nearby church in Banda Hileh, the Assumption Church. This festival is celebrated in honor of Our Lady, where we have sugar canes decorated and around the church. We have a history about the sugar cane that is there, because there was during the occupation of the British, where the Catholic people could not perform, openly, where they would go to the sugarcane field to have mass. That's why now when we have this Assumption in the Malacca, we have the sugarcane decorated around the church to remind us of the difficult times. The Portuguese people have their Portuguese traditional food and also cakes. Now the one that is very famous, the food is called Kari Debal. Kari Debal is a chicken curry, usually cooked with chicken or pork. It's a traditional dish where you can find in the settlement homes during festive season, when the families get together, but now it's becoming more like daily food also for the people. The unique thing about the Kari Debal is the ingredients that we use there. The special ingredients that you don't use in other curry is like the mustard seed, and then we also have vinegar in it. It is just like for the Malays, the rendang. So for the Portuguese, we have Kari Debal, and also other dishes like the Ponte, Semur, Mulyu, and many other dishes that is cooked locally by the people. And you can find these dishes usually in the festive season of San Pedro, when they open up stalls to sell their dishes. And for cakes, the Portuguese people, when they have their wedding cake, is usually fruit cake or suji cake. Not any other cake, but fruit cake or suji cake. And for the local delicacies, we have like one bread. It's called pang susi. Pang susi. Susi is in Portuguese we mean sister. So it's like a bun where the filling is with meat and potatoes, stewed meat or potatoes. You can also find this only with the Portuguese people. You don't find it outside or any other shops selling this as their own food. That is a special bread from the Portuguese community. And other local cakes we have also pulut urap. It's a pulut with steamed with white coconut. And we have one traditional is goreng sagu. Goreng sagu is a cake where we usually have during the funeral. In the funeral, they will cook this, fry this goreng sagu, which is very unique because if you do not know how to mix the goreng sagu, when you fry it will explode. And you don't find this cake also, I don't find it selling anywhere except with the Portuguese of Malacca and maybe the Portuguese of around Malaysia. It is a very difficult cake to master because if you ask other people, they say no, goreng sagu tak boleh goreng, cannot fry, it will meletup. But there is a special way of doing it, and usually it's during a funeral. Why they have it during a funeral? Because according to my grandparents, those days funeral you'll find a lot of old people attending funeral, visiting and all that. So goreng sagu is very soft and slightly crispy, where the old people will be able to chew it and all that, because it's some of them without teeth, they will say that's why they have this goreng sagu and not like butter cake or normal whatever banana cake. The Portuguese traditional attire for the ladies, sarung kebaya, and also for the men, we call banyan. Okay, banyan for the men is just like a pajama attire. Okay, and for the ladies, we have the kebaya panjang or kebaya labo, which in Portuguese we say kebaya comprido, and they will use the kain batik sarung. That was the traditional costume in the old days. And we also have the korsang and also the kukuping. It's a cucuk sanggul. We have our traditional, which is very different from the Malay cucuk sanggul. We have only 4 pins for the hair, for the traditional one. The wedding attire was also kebaya, and it was white, with all the lape and all that, something like that. It's very different from nowadays, where they have the gown and all that. But usually during our wedding, when we have a wedding, which is celebrated 4 days, we'll start on Thursday, where they will have the making of the bridal bed and all that, and they will have a tea session. They will have tea session, and then Saturday is the wedding day, where it is celebrated in the church. And for the Sunday is a Thanksgiving day, where they will have traditional food, traditional music and dance. But Sunday is the day where they pay thanks to all the workers and all the friends and family that have helped them during this wedding feast. So that day will be a special day for mostly, like say, for the kitchen people and all that, where the bride and groom will serve them the food and drinks for that day. In the Portuguese settlement, we also have the Portuguese traditional culture group, which is singing and dancing in the Portuguese with the Portuguese music oriented from Portugal. And also in the locals, we have our famous and legend like Mr. Noel Felix and also Emmanuel Lazaro, who were the former leaders. And now we have Dominic Hendricks, that is my husband, who has taken over. In our own group, we have our own traditional Portuguese dance and music, the Dom Marina. The music is coordinated by my husband, Dominic Hendricks, and I am the one to help with the choreography of the new dance and the old one, to help practice and all that, the traditional dance and song that we still perform in the settlement, and also during a lot of festivals held in the Malacca state government, where they require the Portuguese ethnic and other ethnic groups to perform. So I have a group that will go for this performance to show the Portuguese culture in Malacca, and we also go to say KL sometimes, and also Penang if requested, to perform the Portuguese culture, dance and music. Now, unique about the music is that the traditional music is a joget. It's just like the Malay joget. For the Portuguese, the traditional music is the joget, and the traditional dance is also the joget. And the music is the one like we have in Dondang Sayang, Berbalas Pantun. We have a lot of poem and poetry in that song. So there is also selling and buying, like the Malay said, menjual dan membeli, for the Portuguese traditional. And the ones that is shown usually in the performance that is shown, like with the red suit, with the girls using the bolero and the skirt, and the boys with their coat and the hat, that is more for folk dancing. The folk dancing traditional music is more lively, fast, but for the traditional one, we have instruments like the rebana, guitar and all that. It's all acoustic instruments. And we still perform this dance and music for all our festivals in Malacca and also in the settlement. The community in the Portuguese settlement are very unique. We live like a big family. We always help one another. Whenever there's a funeral, or even though when there's a wedding feast, we always work together. Even in crisis or whatever, especially for the past COVID, everybody has been working together, helping one another to overcome this pandemic. And I would like the future generation to also keep the culture, keep the heritage, the language, and also to build a bigger community, a more loving and happy family.